legal administrator for McKee, Voorhees and Cease, an intellectual property law firm downtown.
I'm Monique Elgersma. I'm half of Real Connections Counseling. We do couples therapy as a couple, so we're in the room with a couple helping them work through their issues. And we're in Rivendell. We've been here for about a year.
So couples need therapy?
Crazy, isn't it?
I'm Rick, the other one.
I'm Tracy Shoemaker, owner of Notary Rotary and Performance Insurance. We're nationwide, very busy.
Very busy.
I'm Bridget Schneider. I own Musk for the Journey. It's a personal training studio. I'm actually your neighbor, and we've never met. So.
Every time I've wanted to come over there, you've been working with somebody.
I know. And it's anywhere, ranges from general fitness to powerlifting. I train my dad. He's 60, almost 63, and has Huntington's disease, so it can go all the way from there to powerlifting.
Cool.
Michael Buka. I own Iowa IT. We do everything from website development all the way up to fixing your desktop computer for you.
Oh, that's a good connection to have.
I'm Lydia Zerby. I work for the Downtown Farmers Market.
Lori Hackney. I'm with the Small Business Administration, and we partner with the Women's Business Center.
And I'm Ann Black, and I'm a current or new sort of retiree in marketing and communication.
I am LaShawn Bishop's parent, and I am becoming an entrepreneur. I take the Dream Builders class, and I am getting in the process of opening a business for natural hair care, specializing in natural hair care, salon and barbershop in the Des Moines area.
Oh.
I'm Nick Howard. I'm an IP attorney at Brown Winnick downtown.
Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Amy Hutchins, and I manage programming for the Iowa Women's Business Center, which is one of 4 programs underneath the Iowa Center for Economic Success, which is where you are today. So the Women's Business Center primarily focuses on providing education and resources to small business owners in our community. So the First Friday series is one of those types of programs that we offer to the community. We're also a VITA site, so we provide free tax prep and planning year-round for anyone interested in engaging with those services. We also have a microlending program, so we can reward microloans to new business owners up to $30,000 if you're just starting a business, and up to $50,000 if you've been in business for 6 months. So a lot of integrated services here that we're able to offer the entrepreneurial community. We're also the only female angel investing network in the state of Iowa. So a bit like Shark Tank, which I actually just watched for the first time last night and got sucked in for like three hours. I wish I had a ton of money so I could just take that role, take that role on. So just something to keep in mind with the Iowa Center. Our First Friday series seems to be one of our more popular programs. It just gives everyone an opportunity to come in and hear the story of other small business owners in our community. So thrilled to have Kerri here today, which we're going to get to in just a moment. We do collaborate with the Des Moines Partnership on this series as well. So I am going to introduce Christina. Haha, not. Christina couldn't be here today, so Mike is going
I changed my hair a little bit. We're good. No, Mike Jefferson with the Greater Des Moines Partnership. For those of you that come to these, you often see me behind the camera, so she asked me to fill in for her today. As always, we were happy to be here with the Women's Business Center and help support this effort. One of the things we do, obviously, is we help promote it by doing a simulcast and offer a recording of this event on our YouTube channel, on the Des Moines Partnership YouTube channel. So Christina asked me to tell you about some upcoming events. One that's right around the corner within the next 3 weeks or so. Top 5 apps for your small business. That's our Top 5 series. That will be on August 22nd. Creating a new revenue stream for your small business. We're going to be educating business owners on the importance of e-commerce. That's going to be on September 11th. It's only $25 to attend. It's limited to 80 guests, so if you haven't done so already and you're thinking about it, I would advise you to go to our website and get signed up for that, because that will fill up pretty quick. One of the speakers actually will be coming in from Google to do a presentation, so something you're not going to want to miss out on as far as e-commerce is concerned. And then last but not least, definitely not least, is our Small Business Success Summit. That's November 9th. It's going to be in Ankeny again. 3 keynote speakers, 18 breakout sessions, and over 20 resource partners. And full day for that is only $79. So again, that will be filling up. It was popular, it sold out last year. We're expecting that same thing to happen again this year. So again,
It's a great event. We
Yep.
have so many resource partners from the community there that
Yep.
you can talk to during breaks. And
Absolutely. So you can find all that info on our website, dsmpartnership.com. And with that, I will turn it over to you guys.
okay.
And next time I'll have Christina back here. So
I think
can
you,
fill
that was a good. Yeah, that was awesome. Everybody has evaluation forms, so that's just something that we like to capture. So if you have, I shouldn't make it as a request. If you could please fill that out before you leave today, that would be wonderful. A couple other programs coming up. Just this is a popular one, QuickBooks. How many of you are on or use QuickBooks? So our next Topical Tuesday, which is next week, we'll talk about the differences between online versus desktop. And then in September, we'll actually have a workshop for those of you already on desktop where you can come in and we'll have a QuickBooks expert here and actually working with you to kind of navigate and show you how it's all set up. So anyway, okay, now what we're here for, because Kerri left Hinterland to come here to join us because she has VIP out there and is serving all the rock stars, Wheatgrass.
Yes.
So we really appreciate her being here today. Okay, so before we really jump into our Wheatgrass girl, I learned recently that you were sort of in business for yourself before you even started down this journey. So you want to talk a little bit about how you kind of started in the entrepreneurial world to begin with?
That's a long story. Well, my family, I'm from an entrepreneurial family. My grandfather and my uncles own a golf shop that's been, it used to be miniature golf and it's still a golf shop now. Kinley's Golf and Sports on Fluor Drive across from the airport. So I grew up with that. My dad not only worked there, but also sold Christmas trees in the lot there in the winter. They did that. And my mom is a cosmetologist, so she had her own hair salon. As I was growing up, had her own probably 3 or 4 different salons, some all at the same time. So that's probably where I get all the same time things that I do. But that, and then when I went to college, my degree is in commercial art and graphic design. And so I worked freelance while I was in college, and then I took some full-time jobs and worked in the corporate world. But once I had my first daughter, I quit that and I just started doing freelance work. So I had my own freelance graphic design business until Fresh Wheatgrass Girl started.
Okay, so that's where we are today. So just tell us your story about how this even all came to fruition.
Well, I believe every business, and a lot of things that we do, there's some catalyst that kind of starts it, right? Starts the fire. And so my oldest daughter is almost 23, and when she was about 1 year old. My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 colon and liver and lymph node cancer, and she was just turning 50. She's my age. I just turned 50, and so it was very, like it is for all of us. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has probably knows someone, has either had cancer themselves or knows someone that has, someone that's close to them, a friend or a family member. And so when those kinds of things happen, I mean, you're kind of bombarded with a lot of information, a lot of questions, a lot of fear. And that was the catalyst that started me with Wheatgrass. And it's a long story, but I'll try to make it sort of short. So I'm freelancing and I'm working for Adobe in San Jose, California, and I'm traveling all over. I work for their Photoshop division, and I'm helping train people how to use Photoshop at the time. It's so different now. I don't even know how to use it anymore, I don't think. But so being in bigger cities, you would see like juice bars and lots of different options. And I'm vegetarian. I have been since I was about 13. So I would seek out these mom and pop little places for health foods. And so kind of become friends with the people that I work with, and they know that I eat weird food and drink weird things. And so when my mom was sick, you know, my whole world just kind of came to a stop. And my friend sent me some wheatgrass seeds and a wheatgrass juicer, a cast iron juicer. And he said, I know you're getting bombarded with lots of things. I know you know, Kerri. And I'm the kind of person that I don't always believe everything that I hear. because I was getting lots of information from a lot of my very kind friends. Try this bottle of this juice or this powder, this pill, or go to this doctor. You should try this to do this. Everyone's trying to give you advice, and they're baking brownies and casseroles and bringing, you know what I mean? Everyone means really well, but kind of get overwhelmed, and there's a lot of things, information out there, a lot of things to read about, movies to watch. His thing kind of made the most sense to me. The seeds, I can grow it myself. I don't have to buy it from anyone. It's not a multi-level marketing company, not that that's bad. A corporation doesn't make it or blend it. It's not patented. Anyone can grow it. You can grow it. It's like growing a cucumber. It's like growing spinach or lettuce. And so we started doing that. My mom had heard from another friend that you should start juicing to revitalize your body. So we bought a juicer. We collected juicers. I had juicers from garage sales. My mom moved in with my daughter and my husband and I, and her full-time job was getting better. So she lived at our house, and we helped take care of her. She was very sick. She was very thin. I mean, they told us to, get everything in order because she's going to die. Stage 4, she was skin and bone. She was losing weight, didn't have a lot of energy. And so my freelance job took me to Kansas City back and forth a lot. And there was a grocery store there called Wild Oats, which is now part of Whole Foods somehow. And they had a juice bar in there. So sometimes when she felt good, she'd go with me there, and we'd get juice and come back. And I thought, oh yeah, you drink that green stuff because it looks kind of gross. But when my friend sent me the seeds, and they sat for a while, I'm not going to lie, I didn't like jump right into it and start growing it right away. I did some research, and those days the research was going to the library and getting books to read about it. Wasn't on Google. So started doing some research and just read about it, and I thought, well, I can grow it. So I started planting it like flower seeds in my soil in the kitchen, and it didn't grow that well that way because there's a whole way to learn. I mean, I've been growing it now for 22 years and been in business for 15 years. So it's taken a long time to kind of learn how it works, what the best way to do it is. So basically, that's a long story, kind of shortened, that I started juicing for my mom. I started growing wheatgrass in my kitchen. Then it went to my basement. Then it went to my garage. Then it went to a neighbor's building that I rented from him. And now it's in my backyard in a building I just built myself.
Which I'm excited. We're going to. Yeah. It's so exciting. But even with your mom, so, well, your mom's status?
She's alive and she's healthy and she's great today. She didn't, she did a lot of things, and I always say, people say, oh, you healed her, and I didn't. My mom healed herself. I mean, she took charge of her health, and she revitalized herself, built up her immune system. I think the juicing really helped. She thinks it really helped her. I know for a fact that a lot of people that I've met over the last 15 years, it's really helped them, because it's concentrated nutrition in a small amount that's easy to take. There were days I'd knock on her bedroom door and she'd be like, oh, no, nothing sounds, it smells, everything smells bad. I kind of remember it being like when I was pregnant and everything made me not feel good too, certain smells of things. So I'd say, it's just a little bit, just 1 ounce of juice is like having a 3-pound dark green leafy salad. It's full of chlorophyll, it's the plant's blood. It's bringing you all the nutrients and the chlorophyll to clean your blood. And yeah, it might not taste that great, but you know what? Chemo doesn't taste very great either. And and people talk about how expensive it is to be healthy or to juice. You can grow your own wheatgrass. I can teach you how to grow it. I have instructions. You can learn. There's so many YouTube videos. I have a video up on my website. You can grow it yourself for pennies a day and juice it.
But even when your mom's health started to improve, this wasn't something you kept doing.
No.
Yeah.
No, she got better. She moved out. She got remarried. And I put the juicer away. And then I had my second daughter. And I started to gain a lot of weight. And I started to be kind of sluggish and no energy and depressed. And I filled out this postcard in the hospital once I had her. And I answered all the questions. Do you suffer from depression, blah, 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 and I answered all the questions right, I guess. I won. I won some counseling sessions with Dr. Ron Hilliard, and he was amazing to help me because I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. And so in going through that and going through some counseling with him, I was forcing myself to get out and go to story time, and this book just fell off the shelf there at me one day, and it was all about juicing, and I was like, oh, yeah, I did that for my mom. She was sick, I wasn't sick, I was like making stuff for her, and we'd try it, you know, but you know, I had a young daughter, and we were, you know, on a fast track of working and just life and everything in general. So I started juicing for myself then. I pulled the juicer out, and I just started to feel so much better. I felt like I was awake again, like I had energy, and my clothes were falling off of me, and people were like, what are you doing? You know, you look different, you have more energy, you're glowing, you're losing weight, and in the middle of all that, being the mom, freelancer, and all of that, the girls were both dancing at School of Classical Ballet and Dance in West Des Moines. And the building had a little coffee shop in it that was owned by the landlord. And it closed down, and everyone was kind of sad because we all would live there at the dance studio every, you know, 2 nights that turned to 3 nights, that turned to 5 nights. And we live in Carlisle in the country. And it's like a half-hour, 45-minute drive back and forth. And once we get somewhere, you don't want to go anywhere else. So my friends and I decided that they talked me into opening a juice bar in this old coffee shop inside the dance studio building. And it was, you know, there's a set group of people that are there, kind of trapped there, for over 450 students at this dance studio, and the parents all standing around. And I wanted to share my message of how to make healthy smoothies, healthy juice, because the coffee shop tried with the whipped cream and cherry on top. And, you know, maybe out of a box with some ice or sugar to make a smoothie. And we knew that there was a better way to do it.
So financially, how did you decide to kind of move forward? Because it really wasn't a business for you at the time. This was almost like the first step of turning it into a business.
Yes, yes. I was still freelancing at the time, and my accountant advised me to not do it. He just said, are you crazy? You want to go into the restaurant business? And I was like, no, it's going to be different. It's like this cafe, it's going to change the world. I'm going to juice. It's like Wheatgrass. And he's like, I suggest you take a class at a small business development center. And so I did, and I went through all these things. I had a mentor who also had a little cafe in West Des Moines, and he said, are you crazy? How much are you going to pay people? Are you going to find help? You know, go through all the questions that your cost analysis and writing a business plan. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. And I kept thinking, you know, no. I think I told you on the phone when we were talking that, you know, like I think a kid's cartoon, it was SpongeBob. I'm pretty sure I even saved it to my Facebook page because I thought it was hilarious. I video part of it. SpongeBob drinking wheatgrass. I was like, it's a sign. I have to do it. Like all things were pointing to doing it, and so I did it with my own money, with my savings account. And there were days, like, I mean, I tried different hours at the cafe. I had a friend who worked with me, and there's good and bad parts of having friends work with you. I've had both happen. You can still be friends, and sometimes you're not friends with them anymore because working and all that's different. So, so yeah, I just opened it, just kind of buckled down, like as if it was a list of things for me to do at my house. So it was like an agenda, like just open it up. And I talked with the landlord and shared my business plan with him, and he was very kind and gave me a really great rate on rent. And so he was excited for me to start up. I think people could see my enthusiasm when they really listened to me. I didn't think it was crazy. I've had a lot of help. There's some great women in the audience here today that I have to mention, because Sally Cooper Smith, she helped me. She came in, she was a student at the dance studio, and she saw me struggling with my logo, because I could do logos and things for anybody else but me. I'm at the drawing table, nope, that's not good enough. Oh no, that looks terrible. I'm like, I gotta get a sign up. I think we were signless for months, and then I did put one up, and it was horrible. I wanted to take it down. And Sally came in and said, oh, let me help you. And look, this is beautiful. Look at these designs. Like, here's my logo on the back. She treated me so well, and still is one of my best friends. So she does a great job.
And that was how long ago? When you had the A long
years.
time ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago is when I started the cafe. Simultaneously, because I operate with very best friends, Kelly Foss is here in the front row. She's the director for the downtown market. I have flyers, information all up here at the desk by my green lemonade. So if you didn't try any, you gotta grab a little sample of it and try it. It's my wheatgrass lemonade. Now it has wheatgrass, lemon, and agave in it, and water. Of course, I like you to drink the shot straight, but sometimes we have to trick you a little bit at first to try it. And you change from the inside out. So once you try it, your body starts craving these nutrients. So this is just the gateway. Kind of like the drug dealer. That's a really bad thing to say, but so try that. Try some wheatgrass. There's this flyer is up front. I want to give this bag away too before we leave. So I don't know how to do that. Like if you want to do a drawing.
I'll take it for you.
Awesome. I have one of these that has like my life and I have a binder in it for the health inspector. I've got essential oils in the pockets, but this one's a brand new one that Kelly brought to share.
We'll do evaluation forms. I'll collect it and draw it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So you have to turn it in. And grab a flyer. But Kelly has given me so much good advice, and really the farmers market. I wouldn't be in business anymore, or right where I am, if I hadn't had a stand at the downtown farmers market.
Now, did Kelly find you, or did you connect?
She actually did find me. She actually did find me because I was scared. I thought, I can't get to the downtown farmers market. It's too hard. I heard it was scary and hard, and like you could never get in. Blah blah blah. And I started. I don't mean this in any bad way, but I was at the Valley Junction farmers market. And it wasn't very successful for me. I have a health food drink, wheatgrass juice, and I'm standing there with a card table and flats of green wheatgrass in a juicer. And you know, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock time frame on a Thursday night, everyone's off work and they want to drink a beer.
Yeah,
and they want a pizza or a taco. And so sales weren't great, but we were doing it for exposure, and I met a lot of people that way. And then Kelly walked by, and actually we went to grade school. She's younger than me, but we were at your sister's a year older than me, so we're kind of staying there, so we kind of knew each other a little bit.
So you found her at the Valley Junction.
She found me at the market.
And I said, what are you doing? No, tell about your power sources. It's just so.
Oh yeah, we have a solar panel and an inverter running our juicer. And we're making shots to order, just small little juices here and there. And I also would make juice, like some gallons of juice mixes, sell them by the glass. I had magic bullet blenders. I was blending smoothies to order. And you know, we didn't have very many people beating down our door. There wasn't a line of people.
So you could do that more custom.
We could, well, it wasn't very efficient or cost effective really. So I learned as
you went along. But when you think about, so you had the dance studio, and then you had the farmer's market, and again, it's your money.
Yes.
So it's your savings.
Yeah.
So you were, you know, you had to think through your operational equipment. Like I need a couple blenders, an inverter, you know.
Yeah, my husband's pretty good. He's kind of like MacGyver, so we work things through a lot. He's great. He's the closet engineer. It's a better example, but yeah, he created the whole plan for me because I could load it all in my car, in the back of my car, and I could drive it down there and set up myself with my little girl.
So you were sharing equipment between your space and so you pack it up from one space and move it to the other.
Yeah, yeah. And I would save. I knew I really would love to have that blend tech or that Vitamix blender like we were talking about earlier, or this really nice Wheatina stainless steel juicer. But I knew I couldn't afford it, so I could afford what I could afford. I used it while I could. I mean, I've always learned, and I learned this from my mom, watching her and watching her raise a single, being a single mom, making a gourmet meal out of what was in the refrigerator, a carrot and some rice, and what we have, like some great chowder that she made, or some soup, and it was always delicious. So I learned to cook from her and create things that way. But you also learning to work with what you have. And work with what I had until I saved enough to buy or earn the bigger, nicer equipment, the $3,000 juicer, that I need an insurance policy on, or you know what I mean, something like that.
Which you probably didn't realize existed when you first started.
No.
That you could buy a juicer for
Or I knew I could. I knew I couldn't afford it, but yeah. And I didn't want to take out a loan. I just used cash flow, and whatever I earned went back into the business. And
So farmers market, so you switch, you go
yes.
downtown, that had to be a
Oh my
game
goodness.
changer.
Yeah, it was kind of funny though. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of pictures. I think I have one on my website of when we did first start out, and it was seriously a card table and some racks of wheatgrass, and I still brought my inverter down because that's all I had. And then I so much wouldn't fit in my car anymore after like the first year. I'd save enough money for a trailer, and everyone would tease me when we'd pull in this trailer. I don't know if you remember it or not. It was like, one of my neighbors said, it's a shed on wheels. And it was awesome though, because I could put everything in that and then drive it down and set up and keep it in there all week. And then finally, as the years have gone by, it's really caught on. I mean, I've tried different things, and I've learned how to be more efficient. And we have a line down the block now, and it's amazing. And we're doing really well. And I'm so grateful for the market, for the exposure that we've had, and for giving me the opportunity to try out. And I bounce ideas off Kelly a lot. What do you think about this event? Should I do this one? Sometimes I do special events, like today I'm doing Hinterland, and we have a stand out there where we're selling our watermelon and pineapple juice and coconuts. And I've never done that before, and I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm hoping that it all works out. But
And here's the amazing thing, I think you shared with me, in the 15 some years of the farmer's market, you've missed how many Saturdays?
One.
Wow. That's insane. So tomorrow, you're in Hinterland, you're gonna do farmer's market, and your daughter's gonna cover.
My daughter is
Hinterland.
I had to twist her arm to cover Hinterland, the music festival.
sure.
She got some friends to help her, so I'm just hoping that everything goes well. But I think it will.
So your brand starts to grow primarily through the farmer's market, and then all of a sudden there's an opportunity for space, or what seems like an opportunity maybe at first to actually move to a physical location.
A bigger location.
Bigger location.
Yes. I mean, my cafe got really busy. It became very trendy, kind of. We're cooking raw. We're uncooking raw food. We're making a lot of juices. We're doing a lot of vegan food and naturally gluten-free, so healthy things. And we're getting a lot of write-ups in the paper, which I also wanted to add. I'd never done any kind of advertising. Everything's been word of mouth, and I think that was really strong for me. My advertising was earned advertising. I would get editorial write-ups and pictures and things. I was very fortunate for that, mostly because I do weird things. Wheatgrass is kind of weird. It's not normal, and
You were still at the dance studio.
I was still at the dance studio. We were busy, and I needed to find some more space to grow. And I talked to the landlord about maybe adding on a patio. And we're in a really obscure building. It was hard to find us. So I knew when people came in to find us, they really wanted to find us. So they wanted a good meal or juice. So I did have an opportunity to merge, kind of partner with a larger company that had me cooking food for the rehabilitation center, and it gave me an opportunity to open up a bigger restaurant space, and I was super excited about it. It was like a dream come true. This big space, and I had all these plans and things for it, and really I'm grateful that I had the experience with it. It wasn't the right fit for me. I think when you partner with people, I learned a lot that sometimes their intentions aren't the same as yours, and you don't really know that. And you don't really know it until you get involved. And so I was only with them for a year. I simultaneously opened another cafe inside of a Healthy Living Center at the YMCA Healthy Living Center in Clive. And so I broke up the partnership. I broke away from that partnership, and I left the restaurant space. And it was very hard. It was, my husband and I put a lot of time into it. We worked a lot of hours building it up, and we were getting busy. We were getting really busy. And so I had this kind of this stigma of when I did close that, the people would ask me, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you closed your restaurant. I'm so sorry that happened to you." it must have been failing. It was horrible, right? And I was like, actually, no, it wasn't failing. We were doing really well. But the partnership just didn't work out. And so I had to branch off into a different direction, and I focused on my Healthy Living Center cafe and building up what is it exactly I wanted to do with this business now, and what was the intent, what was the real intent for me. And it always has been since I started the farmer's market and opened up the little cafe, was that I wanted to teach people that there's a different way to get nutrients into your body. That maybe if I just met, I would always say at the farmer's market, even if I just talked to one person, because there were days, especially in the very beginning, that I was lucky I earned enough to pay for my space. And it was my husband and I, and then I got an employee, and I could pay him, and then, you know, it kind of built up from there. But my only intention at that time was, if I just met one new person, and I talked and we connected, then that made my Saturday. And I met one person every Saturday. One person would walk by, and then they walk back, what is that? And, you know, and then it kind of just turned from that I became friends with a lot of people that way, and that's really what I do now. And that was what I had to step back and reevaluate, because I had let other people come in and had a manager come in and maybe try something new, a new direction with the cafe. And it would work and it wouldn't work, and then they wouldn't show up. Or then, you know, I'm there working all day long, as you all know, as entrepreneurs, taking on all the responsibility just to keep it up. And I felt that I really wanted to focus on my product again, on Wheatgrass, and sharing and educating. And so now I closed my last little cafe at the Healthy Living Center. It switched hands in directions, and that space changed a little bit. So now I am renting a kitchen at the downtown YMCA. I maintained my relationship with the YMCA. And so the YMCA Central Housing Campus has this giant kitchen. And when I was at the Healthy Living Center, one of the people that work there now works at the Central Housing Campus, and she contacted me and she said, Kerri, we have this big, beautiful commercial kitchen, and we only cook in it once a week. We serve a meal every Tuesday night to the residents that live in, they have 140 residents that live in the YMCA Central Housing Campus. It's the only one in the country. It's a great facility. And we would love to like open up more meals for them, or your soup is amazing, Kerri, and your juices, would you come share that? And so I cook for them once a month. I cook a soup meal. I pay for all of it, or I get some donations from some of my friends at the farmer's market, even with vegetables. Like we have a friend who sells bread a few tents down, and so he'll donate bread for my soup day. And I do a soup lunch the last Wednesday of every month, and it's awesome. I love being in that part of the community, and that's where my kitchen is. So it's licensed and insured there and inspected.
And that's you giving back. And in turn, they're helping you.
Yeah, they help me with my commercial space. In the meantime then, this last winter, I took the plunge and I got a loan. And I built my own building, because for years.
Her first loan, not until, what, 23 years?
15, well, I started growing wheatgrass 21 years ago, but been in business 15 years. And so that's my first loan, and I got a loan. I was pretty nervous about it, but I'm ecstatic about the growing facility that I have now. And I don't rent from my neighbor anymore, so we have our own building. And I added on a commercial kitchen that's just getting finished. It's not quite finished yet. But my plan is to...
And this is at your home.
Yeah,
right?
It's in my backyard. Yeah.
I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to share it with people, because I really want to have classes out there. It's kind of what I started in the restaurant, but now it's my space. It's my building.
I think you said to me, I can play whatever music I want.
I can play whatever music I want. I can teach yoga classes in there, or have yoga classes in there. You know, anything that I want to do. It's not, I don't have to run it through anyone. It's my building. It's kind of like when you had your first home or your first apartment, and you have that freedom. So I'm really excited about it. But I want to have some classes, maybe host some special dinners, reservation only, And that's what I'm doing now. I'm serving people that I want to serve. I do the music festival because I want to do it. I kind of like a couple of the bands that are playing, and it's pretty fun. We got to serve Def Leppard for the 2nd year in a row a couple weekends ago, because they all eat vegan food, raw food. And so people reach out and they find me that way through the internet.
Now, do you dabble with e-commerce business? If it was out of, I don't know how that happens with produce out of state, like if Def Leppard just decided you were their go-to, would they purchase product from you?
I'm working on that actually. I have, on my website right now, I have my menu because I've converted now to just being a juice and food delivery service. So now I just deliver to the people that, I haven't even really put it out there a whole lot yet because I just have a limited menu. And so I'll deliver around town, kind of get to serve people that way. But I'm working on some products that can be shipped.
That's amazing. Yeah. So okay, so what about help? Because what's your employee base look like? Well, because you can't be in 50 different places at once as hard as you try, right?
It fluctuates. I mean, for summer farmers market season from May through October, I have about 12 to 15 employees that will trade back and forth. They're on my schedule, I guess. We rotate.
And employees, not contractors for you, true employees?
Well, yeah, I mean, for a short amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just temporary. And then it's my husband and I and my daughters. Yeah, for now. Yeah,
That's
good.
Well, you even mentioned your dad.
My,
He's
oh
helping
yeah,
in the
oh
greenhouse,
God,
right?
I don't even know how I could forget. My dad and my brother help me in the greenhouse. And my mom's on call. She comes over and helps me when I need extra hands in the kitchen. As well as some of my friends too. Some of them are at Hinterland now because that was their trade-off. Oh, we're Hinterland.
If you can make a lot of friends, new friends that way too.
We'll lose some unless they work around me.
What about having employees? We get a lot of questions sometimes about the pros and cons of hiring. Can you share maybe even just some challenges that maybe you've experienced having employees over the way, or do you really consider it just more helpful than anything?
It's been both. Yeah, it's been both. Sometimes it can be hurtful. You know, when you're gone for that half hour when you're under the bank and they serve someone and maybe didn't smile or whatever, and you get the bad review on Facebook, and you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. Nothing you can really do about it. People are people. I think I was telling you when I was talking to you, I kind of liken having employees as having about 15 roommates, you know, because you're all sharing this space, and it's like, well, who broke this? Oh, I don't know, it wasn't me, you know. Or this is, you know, you go through some equipment or being wasteful with food or with product. But I've learned a lot. I've learned that I may not be the best manager. I probably need some help because I kind of want to be friends with everyone. I want everyone to like me, and I want to make everybody happy. And I didn't realize that I can't make everybody happy all the time. Like, why are you sad? Don't feel, here, have some juice, have some brownies, here, take all of my money. Just be happy, you know, to be here. And aren't you excited to be working here? And some people just aren't. But some people are, and it's infectious and it catches on, and you find those, the right ones. Not a lot of good ones.
So experiences along the way, even with employees, I'm sure there's a ton. And you shared a story, you mentioned advertising earlier, how you hadn't necessarily paid for any, but you got a lot of editorial. And then you took a chance on two things. You almost didn't want to market because you were fearful of actually bringing people in, because you didn't know if you were ready for it.
Exactly.
And then you had your Groupon and
I got talked into doing a Groupon because I was like, well, I don't have to pay for it, and you know, it's pretty much I'm just kind of giving product away. And so I did the Groupon, and I didn't realize when it was going to hit or whatever. And I had been invited. My friend was doing a health fair, and he invited me to make the food for the event. And in doing so, they wanted to promote the event. And what better way to promote something than to bribe the editorial staff with food? So let's have Kerri on Van and Bonnie and on the radio and bring Wheatgrass and talk about it. And oh, by the way, bring some of your black bean brownies too, you know, that kind of a thing. So I showed up, and I was on the Van and Bonnie show, and they were really excited, and Van actually really liked the Wheatgrass and was talking about how it revitalized health, and he would come in and have shots even at the cafe. But back up, to, as I got off the radio show, and then I'm driving to my cafe, my employee inside's calling me, Kerri, there's a line out the door in the parking lot, and they're here to turn in Groupon. What did you do? You know, we're trying to make enough food to make everybody happy, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It kind of backfired on me. We weren't really ready for all of that. It was scary. I don't like when people aren't happy. Again, seeing my customers, if they're not smiling and happy, then I was freaking out.
So what do you still do today? I mean, you've been in business for so long, but even talking to you, I can tell you still feel like you're constantly learning new things. So what are some of the things that you do to kind of keep learning more about your business? Or, I mean, you're doing some product expansion in a way with some of the new things that you're offering.
Sure.
Is it an experimentation type? You always talk about MacGyvering.
Oh, yeah.
You know, is it just sort of putting your heads together and just talking about what's next?
Yeah, I think being in the creative business and the creative background that I have, I think it always is very interesting to me to put different colors and textures and flavors and things together. And so I'm creating some new juices and smoothie bowls and things like that all the time. In one of my challenges along the way is I was selling my frozen wheatgrass juice, and I was wholesaling it to Hy-Vee. They found me. They found me because I had a friend at one of the Hy-Vees who wanted me to she came and found me at the farmer's market. Oh, we want to sell your wheatgrass juice at the store. How can we do it? Well, the only way we could do it was to freeze the juice, package it. Sally created a beautiful package for me, and I sold it at one Hy-Vee, and the next Hy-Vee called me and they wanted it. And then corporate Hy-Vee called me and said, we want to distribute your juice to all of our Hy-Vee stores, make it open for all of them. And it was another one of those, oh my gosh, I have to be ready. You can't say no to them. Like if they place an order, you have to fill it, or they're not going to order from you anymore. So we worked really hard to get that. And I had my mom and my dad and my brother, everyone were all growing and juicing and packaging and freezing, and I'm driving it to Sheraton, and it was crazy. Yeah. Well then, and also to back up, I do my research, and so we were checked out with the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals. We were checked out. I did everything that they told me to. I have all the licenses, blah, blah, blah. New director comes into play, and they decide that the rules have changed. So the juicing rules are different, and no, you need to pull all of your juice out of all the Hy-Vees because it's not pasteurized. And, well, I'm not going to pasteurize wheatgrass juice. That's ridiculous. That kills it, all the enzymes. So, super long story short is I did have to take all of it back, or not really get it back, but refund all of their money. It was all out of my own pocket. And then stop selling it. Well, we were just on the cusp of like, wow, this is amazing. We're getting more orders. I'm demoing in the stores. People are drinking my green lemonade. The kids are walking by drinking green lemonade, and they want to buy more of it. Well, what I've done then is I've had to teach myself some more. So I read all the Iowa codes, and I've read all the FDA and USDA guidelines, and I took a class at Ames, at Iowa State University, with Dr. Angela Shaw, who then became very interested in my wheatgrass and doing research with it for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients. So I donated a couple juicers to them, and I donate wheatgrass to them to juice it and test it out and do a lot of different things. And so in the meantime, I am HACCP approved now, or certified. And so I took the classes, I paid the price, and now there were health inspectors in the classes with me, and I remember talking to them at one point saying, I'm not really trying to kill anyone with my juice. I'm trying to do the exact opposite. And so can you help me out here, and let's figure out what we can do to get this back on the shelf. So in the meantime, it's taken a long time, because in the meantime I'm still working, I'm still trying to make payments on my buildings and do all the different things I'm doing. So I'm working on getting my product back out in wholesale. There are a couple different options that I have that doesn't involve pasteurizing it, because I won't do that. So we're getting there.
There's so many different avenues that you're even exploring right now.
Right.
From online to, so it's just,
so there's
it's
always
constantly
something.
changing.
And like you were asking me, what do I do that's new? I think educating myself too, and then we experiment, we try things out, try things out at the farmer's market, see how it works. Last year at the end of the season, we started juicing. well, juicing watermelons, putting it back in the watermelon, selling the watermelon, and people liked it. And then the end of the season in October, we were making pumpkin smoothies, putting them back in the sweet little pie pumpkins, selling the pumpkins, and they love that. So this year I was like, yeah, we're gonna do watermelons, and I think we should do pineapples this year too. And now, it's crazy. That's what we're doing at Hinterland, is just watermelons and pineapple juice and coconuts, fresh coconuts, served in the actual container in the melon. And they're going like crazy. We can bring enough down, and it's awesome.
And that's something somebody's gonna see and go up to someone and say, where did you get that?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Because it's hot and I want that.
Yeah, so experimenting and trying out that and having the flexibility to try it in a market.
So we want to leave it open for some Q&A, but maybe if you don't mind just sharing with people, what do you do to just simply stay sane in life in general?
We like to travel, so we plan little trips. My daughter.
But not over a Saturday.
No, in the winter. Yeah,
in the winter.
So yeah, we look forward to little trips together. We always have Sunday off. Sunday, we don't take phone calls. We just hang out and do stuff as a family. I think that's really important.
It's such a broad question, but in your career, is there any, for those that might just be thinking about starting a business, any words of wisdom?
People always say it, but it's really true, is that you need to be very passionate about what it is that you're doing and really love it. I found that even in my mismatching of partnerships and even mismatching with some employees and things, is that money isn't the only reason to do it. And if it is the only reason, then maybe that is your passion. Maybe like that is my passion, is money, and then that will become why you're going to be do what you're doing. But really, you need to be passionate and have a love for it that you can do it all the time. I don't even realize I'm working sometimes when I'm working because I love it so much.
Well, especially when your family's involved too.
Yeah.
You know, then you're bringing your family into your business. So
yeah, they're very supportive. You know, there are days that the cafe would get blamed for why this didn't happen or that, you know, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we all know it's not really that. That wasn't really the reason. So. And
what is some of your? It's funny, I don't want to say clients necessarily, but do you hear from them? Do they come back to you and just say, "Oh man, this was amazing, and I started drinking your wheatgrass more, and it's changed my life"? Do you hear those kind of stories, like it changed your life and your mom's life?
I do.
Yeah,
I do all the time. There's a couple here in your office, huh? I get repeat customers. I love that, being able to drop juice off to people and see how it's changing them and making them feel better, getting the nutrients into their body when they didn't think that they could, or and also teaching people how to do things on their own. I think that's really important, is being able to teach people how to grow their own wheatgrass, how to juice it if you want to. And there's different levels, you know. I mean, that's how it is with my business. I'll juice it and package it and deliver it to you, or I will teach you how to do it on your own.
It's amazing. Questions from you all?
So sounds like delivery is becoming a really big part of what you're doing.
Yes.
And I was reading that in New York City, some of the restaurants are now over 85% all delivery. Some of them are actually building their models for delivery. Not just even getting it out fast, but packaging it in things that if you put it on the table, it would be not just an ugly box, but like something pretty or fun or attractive, kind of like serving things in the containers. So have you looked into different technologies or different ways that you can expand the delivery part where you're not the one having to go and drive?
I know, right? Yeah, it can be
where someone could
sometimes.
order it on demand through, there's just so many technologies now that are connecting with the built world space, restaurants and retail, and I'm wondering if you have thought about embracing any of those.
Yeah, when I had my cafe, there was a new company that started. I don't know if they're still around or not, but they were going to bring me a little iPad, and then the orders would come through to that, and they would pick up and deliver, and they take a percentage of my sales. And I thought about it for a while, and then I thought, why do I want to give them a percentage? And when we could maybe do it ourselves. and we didn't really, I didn't go that avenue with the cafe, and then when I closed, and now I just do, because the kitchen that I'm in downtown, it's a secure building because the people that live there, they don't want people coming in and out and picking up things. So I do have to deliver it, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna hire my brother full-time this year and have him take over some of that. So I'm kind of slow sometimes to shift the control, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but delegate, giving people jobs. But I'm getting better at that, and I'm so surprised at how much more efficient and happier I am. And I'm like, wow, you're doing that, and I'm not driving around. So my daughter does some deliveries for me now, and things like that too.
And she's doing some marketing for you too?
Yeah,
right?
she graduated with a commercial art and graphic design degree too, but she's doing some things for me now, and trying to get out of state. She's just, she's young, thinking that she needs to live on the coast.
Yeah.
And all that, but there's so much, like you said, online and technology there that I'm not really all that good with anymore.
And if it works, if what you're doing is working, and
yeah, I'm gonna try it out.
Is there a lot of competition in the wheatgrass market nationally?
No.
No.
No, not really, because it can't be patented and really packaged, and I know all the wheatgrass growers. Kind of my wheatgrass guru, Michael Bergonzi, he used to be at Hippocrates in West Palm Beach, Florida, and he was the master wheatgrass grower there. So he has videos out. I've gotten all his videos. I've even emailed him. We've talked on the phone, and I think he's amazing. And you kind of know everyone kind of knows who each other, who we are. But really, a lot of people are growing it themselves. And I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised when I hear people tell me that, oh yeah, I tried growing that before. So we
you have your own greenhouse now in the kitchen, and that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Any other questions?
How I know a lot of entrepreneurs I'm talking to, how they face a lot of rejection and no's. What kind of advice do you have, maybe when you were starting out? And you might have not faced a lot of rejection like a lot of us have here, but because it's a good market. But how do you deal with rejection or those no's, or when somebody tells you you can't? How do you overcome that?
I guess I'm kind of stubborn because I always think that there's a way around it. I thought there was a way around it. That's why I went ahead and opened it, even after my small business development mentor, another person in the office there said, "Don't do it. Are you crazy? You're doing fine with your freelance business. Why would you want to have employees? Why do you want to have overhead? Why, all the things? Why do you want to do all of that?" And I just wanted to. I felt inside that I could do it, and there were days that were harder than others. As far as me being the last one to close up at night, or just making enough to pay for my stand at the market and not getting it back. But I think I leaned on my family a lot, even though some of them did tell me no too. But they knew how driven I was, and I think just being able to bounce some ideas off of them. Well, what do you think about this? Or what if I tried that? And then just doing it. If you're passionate about it and you feel it, then you just have to try it. I had a lot of people telling me not to.
Yeah, so we do hear that if you're passionate about it, a no doesn't necessarily sound like a convenience.
I just watch SpongeBob and see that, take it as a sign. That was my sign. No, there were a lot of other things like that too. It was people would say, "Oh yeah, I heard about that," and never tried it before. And then people always try my wheatgrass juice now, and they tell me how much sweeter it is than something that they maybe tried somewhere else. And it is just, it's how I feel about it. I have, I grow it in soil. I pick out, I hand select the seed myself. I taste test it, make sure that it's palatable. We catch it at the right time, right before it starts to turn. And so it's very sweet. It's different. There's a difference than if you're putting something into it like that, than if you're just growing it, you're trying to make it profitable and you're cutting it, letting it regrow again, or you let it grow too long, those types of things.
And you even with your loan, real quick, maybe just explain where your loan came from.
It came from the USDA. A woman, minority farmer. Because I plant a small garden every day. We grow about 80 flats of wheatgrass, 10 by 20 trays of wheatgrass we plant every day. And so I'm planting. It takes 7 to 10 days to grow it from start to finish. We cut and we compost and we recycle. We don't have waste in our facility at all in what we do. So
you would have ever thought.
I would never have thought.
Well,
Quick question. So you teach others how to grow their own wheatgrass also? So does that feel like you're giving away the keys to the kingdom?
No. No, as long as they're not trying to grow at their own facility and then follow me around and try to sell to some of my customers that I sell
right
to.
next to you at farmer's market.
It sort of has happened, and it hasn't been right exactly next to me, but it has happened a few times. But the thing is they're gone now, and I'm still here because I still believe in it and I'm still passionate about it. And I think there's a difference because sometimes people see dollar signs and think, oh, I should do that, and they're not really thinking about it. They're just thinking about how they can maybe make some money.
And you don't think you'd lose them as a customer, like, oh, I can grow this myself. I don't need to pay her for her juice. She just taught me how to make it myself. Like
no,
that.
I never do. They buy their seed from me. I sell the seed.
Because your process of using it up every time means they need to come back for more seed.
Yes, they and they are free to buy it anywhere else. But usually, I've tried all of those. I've tried the bins in the health market, and it doesn't germinate because it's been sitting there for a while. I've tried all the different varieties. There's several different varieties of wheat, and so we pick the kind that's good for us. And they'll usually call me up. I need to buy some seed from you, and oh, by the way, can I buy a couple flats or some cut by the pound grass too, because mine's not ready to come in yet. And I also do sell the juicers, although you can find them online on Amazon, and that's fine too. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Yes.
Do you get approached by people outside of Hy-Vee to because there's juice smoothie places and all kinds of stuff around. Do you get approached to wholesale or to provide it? And you do that too?
I do. I wholesale my wheatgrass at Campbell's Nutrition. The downtown Hy-Vee has a juice bar, and so they juice my wheatgrass there. There's a little juice bar by Drake called Lifestyle that he just reopened again. He was open and he closed, he reopened, so he buys his wheatgrass from me. And I also helped a guy just open up a juice bar inside Jordan Creek Mall, and a friend referred him to me, and he called me and said, hey, I want to open up a juice bar in the mall. And I was like, awesome, I always wanted to do that. I'm glad you're doing that. And he said, can you help me, give me some advice? And so I consulted with him a little bit, and then I sold him my wheatgrass.
That's awesome.
You see that operation growing then? I know you like that personal, I can see that you like the personal education and connection with people. So is that like in your vision to change your operation in any way where you're being a more large scale, I guess? Large scale in terms of
yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I think it would be awesome. Like I told my small business development center mentor, I'm going to change the world with wheatgrass. I want it to spread. I'd like to be able to go all over the place and be able to get a shot. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome to have it and come and go? You pull it, you go in, and you juice your own wheatgrass there, or someone juices it and you get a shot, rather than maybe a shot of Red Bull or something better.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be great? I think it'd be great.
That's awesome.
I don't view people like that as my competition at all. I think we're more of a partnership in a good way, where we're sharing like-minded information and everyone's getting grown.
Cool.
Well, I want to ask. I just want to be mindful of time, so maybe I'll start collecting the forms and we'll do the giveaway. But absolutely ask your question.
The juicer, is it a special kind of juicer or like a regular juicer?
Wheatgrass has to be juiced with a masticated juicer.
Masticated, okay.
Oh
So
my
it's like
gosh.
a sausage grinder.
Put your name on it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm like, no, they're enormous. Usually we're doing a drawing, so put your name on it. And then I'll pass it off. Absolutely. This is exciting. I comment on this bag right when we were
Not that one.
Walked in.
Not the other one.
Online.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah.
Did you write your name on it?
Awesome.
You brought it.
All these ideas are